Okay, good evening. Today we're going to begin our discussion on the last two papers, okay, for AdMaths. So this is the SBP goal paper. It's taken from the SBP module book actually, and when I saw the questions, I thought, well, these questions are quite interesting lah. Okay, quite interesting in the sense where there are a lot of questions which are pretty routine. And it is like arranged according to difficulty one lah. Okay, so today's one and the next class one is a goal paper lah. So the goal paper is a little bit easier. It's the more standard questions. And then the other paper is the platinum paper, which is a little bit more challenging, a little bit more difficult. But we'll definitely also discuss that now. Okay. All right, let's begin now. So question number 1. Diagram 1 shows a graph of function fx equals to x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, first of all, state the coordinates of A. Okay, so the coordinates of A over here, the important thing you need to remember is over here, the value of x equals to 0. Okay, so you substitute x equals to 0, you get the answer 6. So this coordinate is 0 and 6. Okay, secondly, the minimum point of B. Okay, so the minimum point of B will require you to complete the square of this lah. Okay, so if you have fx equals to x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, so when you complete the square, of course, we take this value. Okay, then we plus and minus half of it squared. Okay, so you perform the completing the square langkah. Okay, and you should be able to get something like fx equals to x minus 5 over 2 squared minus 1 over 4. Okay, should be lah. X minus 5 over 2 squared minus 1 over 4. And this information will give you the value of the minimum, or if in other cases, it will be the maximum point lah. But it will give you the minimum point. Okay, so if you don't already know how to do completing the square, this is a good time for you to go and check back upper langkah-langkah into completing the square. Okay, I'm just going to give you the final product. And remember that how we determine the x coordinate is by taking this number that is next to the x, but we change the tanda. So the x coordinate is 5 over 2, but the y coordinate is exactly the same. Kalau dia negative, negative like. Okay, so the y coordinate is negative 1 over 4. And that's why your value is over here like this stuff. Okay, now if you want to use the negative b over 2a method, okay, which is the max method, I don't think it's a big issue lah. Okay, I think it's totally fine. You can definitely use that. But I will always go with the standard working lah, which is using completing the square, because that is the thing that you learn in AdMaths. But if you use maths method also, it's actually correct. Okay, most important thing is you get the value of the coordinate and make sure that you give your answer in the form of a coordinate lah. Okay, don't give your answer in the form of x equals to this, y equals to that. It doesn't work that way lah. Okay. Question number 2. This is a solution of 3 equations. Okay, so the answers are x equals to 2, y equals to 3, z equals to 4. And just to remind you that there are 2 ways to answer this question. Okay, one is by elimination method, and the second one is by substitution method. Yeah, substitution method. Okay, so it really depends on which way you prefer. Either way actually will give you the same answer. Okay, but I think that, and I suspect I suspect that most people will prefer the elimination method because it's easier. It's familiar, especially if you've done this since Form 3 lah. Okay, so yes, get around to doing this. You need to make sure that these kind of questions you don't miss out lah. Okay, because it's simple enough that you know when you do again and again and again kan boleh tu. Just don't make mistake. Okay. All right, number 3, find the range of values of h. Okay, so whenever you see the word range of values of h, you kind of need to know that your answer is not equals, it is either lebih atau kurang. Okay, Now then they say if this one is always negative. So what does is always negative mean? Always negative means that the curve is either, oh sorry, it's always like this, or it's always like this. This is a bit impossible. Okay, so I'm not going to do it. It's always negative means that it is never going to touch the x-axis. Okay. Likewise, if you see the words is always positive, okay, it also means the same thing. Okay, it will be something like this. It's always positive value. Okay, so this is a very important thing to remember, because this helps us to know that what you are looking for is actually b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. That is what this sentence means. It's always positive or it's always negative. It is a clue to tell you that, oh, okay, saya mesti guna b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. Okay, so you want to do that. So kenal pastilah the b is 2 squared minus 4 times a is negative 1. Okay, negative 1. And then c is 7 minus h is less than 0. When you pindah, you should be able to get the answer of h is more than 8. Okay, so don't forget this. And this is a very common question. When you see the words is always negative, is always positive, or does not intersect with the x-axis. All this means the same thing. Okay, b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. Okay, it simply means that. Okay, number 4. Now this paper. Okay, this paper. Both paper 1 gold and platinum is a little bit strange because in these two papers, the paper 2 section C questions are there. Okay, and I don't think it should be there because it was clearly told to us that it will only come out in paper 2 section C . But since it is asked in this paper 1 paper, we might as well just answer it . Okay, so table 1 shows the price indices and the corresponding weightages for 4 types of material in the year, yada, 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 2020 based on 2018. Okay, now find the value of x and y if the composite index is 118 and the total weightages is 10. Okay, so it is actually telling you two very important this one . Okay, so the composite index is 118. Okay, if the composite index is 118, then you know what you need to do . 105 times x plus 110 times 2 times plus 120 times 4 plus 125 times y over the total weightage. No need to x plus 2 plus 4 plus 1, just the total weightage is 10. Okay, equals to 118 is your first equation. Okay, then your second equation is the total weightages is equals to 10. So x plus 2 plus 4 plus y equals to 10. Okay, so you have one equation, you have the second equation. You can perform simultaneous equations to get the value of x and y . Okay, so you should be able to get x equals to 1 and y equals to 3. So not a very difficult question. Okay, I think it's pretty familiar, except that the only thing is dia keluar di kertas satu which is a little bit strange. Okay, it's a little bit strange, a little bit new. Okay. All right, number 5. Find the value of n for the equation 2 to the power n over 5, okay, equals to 1250 over n. Okay, so there are a couple of ways to do this . Okay, if you're going to do 2 to the power n over 5 equals to 1250 to the power n, okay, what you can do is you can bring this down and you can switch this across. 2 to the power n over 1250 to the power n equals to 5. Okay, then what you can get now is since both of these are power of n, okay, you can bring it into the same bracket . So 2 over 1250 to the power n equals to 5. Okay, and 2 over 1250 is actually 1 over 625 to the power of n. Now, if you know, okay, that n and 5 and 625 are actually the other kaitan lah, which is actually 625 is 5 to the power of 4. Okay, so 1 over 5 to the power of 4n is equals to 5. Okay, then of course from here you can, you can manipulate it around. This will actually be 5 to the power of negative 4n equals to 5 to the power of 1. So negative 4n equals to 1, n equals to negative 1 over 4. Okay, this is one way of doing this. The other way, of course, if you don't know how to do this, is you log both sides. Okay, log this and log that. Also can log 10 2 to the power n minus log 10 5 equals to log 10 1250 to the power of n. Okay, you can do this, also no problem. Okay, but you will end up with the same answer as well. Okay, but I prefer the method on the left because I know that the 625 lah. Okay, I know that it's going to 2 divided by 125 is 625. 1 over 625, which is definitely something to do with 5 to the power of something. Okay, so that is how I will do this. But if you're not sure, always go to the log method. I don't think using the log method is wrong. Okay. B, solve the following using conjugate. When we say conjugate means we're going to rationalize the denominator. So we have 5 over root 5 plus root 2. Okay, how do we conjugate this? We multiply with root 5 minus root 2. Okay, root 5 minus root 2. Okay, so what we will get is at the bottom will be 5 minus 2 lah, and then here will be 5 root 5 minus 5 root 2. Okay, and then this one will just give you 5 root 5 minus 5 root 2 over 3, which is about the same answer as this lah. Okay, it is actually exactly the same answer. Kalau X kasih factorize the 5, boleh kah? Sorry, there's a question here. Oh, kalau tidak kasih factorize the 5. What do you mean by tidak kasih factorize the 5? You're talking about this. Oh, if I don't factorize. Yeah. I think this is fine. Yeah, if you don't factorize, I know the final answer they kasih factorize. But actually, it's the same thing. I don't think it really matters whether you want to factorize or not. Okay, I think it's fine. Okay, given that log 3x squared y equals to 4 log 3x, express y in terms of x. Okay, so log 3, sorry, x squared y equals to 4 plus log 3x. Is that what it is? Okay, express y in terms of x. Okay, so obviously one very important thing is this 4 lah. Okay, since this is log 3, this is log 3, we definitely have to change the 4 in terms of log 3 as well. So what we will get is log 3 x squared y equals to 4 log 3 3. Okay, you know what? I'm going to 4 log 3 3. Okay, plus log 3x. Why do I add in this log 3 3? Okay, because number 1, it is equals to 1. Number 2, if I have everything in log 3, then I can simplify easier. This on the left hand side, on the right hand side will give me log 3 3 to the power of 4 plus log 3x, which will give me log 3 3 to the power of 4x. Okay, I can bring them back together using the log. Okay, so 3 to the power of 4 is actually 81. So I'm going to change this to 81x. So we have log 3 x squared y equals to log 3 81x. Okay, and this helps us to get rid of the log 3. See, the reason why I do this step in red color is so that I can bring all the logs together and then I can get rid of the logs. Because this plus ini kan dia menghalang ba. I cannot do anything. I cannot get rid of the logs because of the log 3 over there. Okay, so you can only get rid of the logs if there's only one term on each side lah. So you get x squared y equals to 81x. Okay, I'm going to leave this here. You can pindah-pindah and you will get this answer lah. Y equals to 81 over x. Okay, I noticed that every time we do discussion kan, always soalan log, mesti saya jawab. Yang lain semua kan saya akan, okay, kamu jawablah sendiri ya. But always the log questions I always end up doing one. Log and then apa lagi ya? Trigonometry kan I always end up doing. Maybe because it's slightly difficult kan. Okay lah. All right. This question, okay, this question I'm going to star because actually this question is also the other question that is from paper 2 section C, which is the motion in a straight line. Okay, and I think in your class not many people are going to answer this, but I'm going to give you the answers anyway if you know how to answer this question. But I'm not going to discuss this question because this is not one of the topics that our school is focusing on. Okay, so those of you who think you want to answer motion in a straight line for paper 2 section C, these are the answers. H equals to 8 and K equals to 4. Okay, given that the sum of the nth term of an arithmetic progression is given by 5n minus n squared. So what it is telling you is Sn is equals to 5n minus n squared, the sum of the nth term. Okay, one very important thing to remember is if they have given you an alternative formula, because the arithmetic progression formula is what? Sn equals to n over 2a plus n minus 1d. Okay, this is the standard formula lah. Okay, if they don't give you an alternative formula, you use this formula. But if they have given you an alternative formula, use that formula. Okay, lupakanlah yang n over 2a plus n minus 1d, itu lupakanlah. Use that 5n minus n squared. So how do you find the fourth term? The fourth term is S4 minus S3. Okay, let me show you the logic behind this. So T1, T2, T3, T4. Okay, if I add all four together, it is S4 bahkan. And if I add all three together, this is S3. Right? So if I want to find the value of just T4, it is all four together minus all three together, which is S4 minus S3. So you substitute 4 and 3 inside here, and you get the value of S4, T4, okay, which is the fourth term. Now the sum of the third to the 10th term. Okay, so the third to 10. Okay, sum. Okay, the sum of the third to the 10th term is S10 minus S2. Okay, all 10 minus the first two. Then you get from the third to the 10th law. Okay, so these are very fundamental things lah. Okay, these are very fundamental things that actually you shouldn't be memorizing. You should actually logically work it out. Kalau saya mau daripada 3 sampai 10, saya cari dulu semua 10, baru saya tolak 2 yang pertama. Jadi saya dapat 3 sampai 10 lah. Okay, kalau saya mau a specific term, okay, then it is all 4. Let's say if it's, let's say lah, I want to find what is T10. This is S10 minus S9. Okay, all the 10 and then minus the first 9. You get the 10th one. Okay, so if you can, work it out logically. Okay, don't memorize. Oh, okay, kalau saya cari itu kan saya mesti cari S itu tolak S sebelumnya. Okay, which is like, don't memorize these kind of things. Okay, use your brain power to memorize other things. This one you can work it out logically. Okay, so when you substitute correctly using this formula, everybody, ini jangan pakai. Kenapa? Sebab sudah diberi formula baru, so don't use another formula, the original formula. Okay, you should be able to get both these answers are -2 and -56. Okay. All right, question number 8. This is a linear law question. Okay. So reduce the non-linear equation this to the linear form y equals to mx plus c. Now, since the x is a power, okay, if there is a power and the power is an unknown, usually this will involve, usually this will involve log. Okay, so you want to have log y equals to log pq to the power of x. And then ini saya tinggalkan dengan kamu lah. Okay. Astaga. Oh, I'm supposed to answer this, but sorry. So log 10 y equals to log 10 pq to the power of x. Ini we can split up. So you get log 10y equals to log 10p plus x log 10q. I'm not skipping a step, but I'm just shortcutting it lah. Okay, actually it's log 10q to the power of x, makan. Yes, I know. Saya bawa itu x pergi depan. At this stage, this kind of things should come automatically already lah. Okay, you shouldn't waste time by doing it step by step. Okay, you're so near to the end of your Form 5 life. At this stage, these kind of things, if you do enough practice, it should come very naturally to you. Okay, so then here you already know what is the y-axis. This is the y-axis. Okay, this is the x-axis. So therefore, this is the gradient, and this is the y-intercept. Now, if you see a question like this, state what is y, what is m, what is x, what is c, right? Okay, you need to write the answer down very explicitly. Don't buat macam saya tahu yang ada anak panah saja itu. Apa itu? Okay, so write it down specifically. Y is log 10y. Okay, x is x. The gradient is log 10q and c is log 10p. Okay, write it out so that it's very clear. Because you know why? This is a 5-mark question. Okay, 5-mark questions means what you know. This is 1 mark, and each of these is 1 mark. So if you're lazy to write down what is y, what is x, what is m, what is c, can you imagine how many marks you're losing out just because you're lazy to write out the right answer? Okay, so especially this kind of question, okay, be very explicit and specific about the answer. Question ask this, you answer this. Don't be lazy about these kind of things. Okay, definitely don't do this. Okay, ini cikgu saja yang boleh buat ni. Okay, calon peperiksaan janganlah buat begini. Okay, unless you want to hilang 4 markah free. It's literally 4 free marks. Okay, why would anyone waste it? Okay, unless dia memang A+ dalam tangan sudah lah. Okay lah, kalau kamu mau buang tu 4 markah, aku buang lah. Okay, this is xy against 1 over x squared. Okay, express y in terms of x. So we want to change it back to the non-linear mode. Okay, so first thing is, let's form the equation first lah. This is what x over y equals to m 1 over x squared plus c. Okay, now the c is given here as -5. Very clear. So we can ganti this one. Okay, we can replace this one with -5. Oh, sorry. -5. And then after that, we have to find the gradient lah. We have 2 points over here, so you can actually find the gradient lah. Okay, so I'm sure you can find the gradient yourself. The gradient is 3 over 2. Okay, so this one I will change to 3 over 2. Okay, now it's your job to change from here untuk mendapat balik ini. Y equals to yada 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 yada. Okay, this part you should do it. Okay, I'm not going to show you this part. I feel you should be spending time to figure out how to change it back. Okay, in these 3 marks. Okay, so I'm giving you the answer there, 2x cubed over 3 minus 10x squared. If you get an alternative, for example, y equals to 2x cubed, then negative 10x squared plus 3 also can lah. Okay, it's not a problem lah. But you must be able to know how to change from here to here. That one is very important. Okay. All right. Question number 9, a straight line passing through A 5, 5 and B -9, -2. Okay, point C divides the line segment AB. Okay, so we draw it out first now. Always when you see this kind of question, this is the jumping formula. Okay, so let's find this. A is here, B is here, C is the dividing line. Okay, point C divides. And then they say 4AC equals to 3AB. Okay, 4AC equals to 3AB doesn't mean that AC is 4 and AB is 3. So this is a very common mistake. I always see this. They see the number and they think, oh, okay, AC is 4, AB is 3. Your head, okay, pindah pergi bawah. And then you will see 3 over 4. Then you say, Allah, AC is 3, AB is 4. So AC is 3. The whole of AB is 4 parts, which means that CB is actually 1 part. Okay, so you use the formula, the lompat-lompat formula, which is this is 5, 5, and this is -9 and -2. So you use the jumping formula, and you should be able to get this answer. Okay, -11 over 2 and -1 over 4. Now, one thing that is very important now that I think I should mention is that if let's say in the exam you get a very strange answer at this, because we have been seeing quite a few strange answers. Hold on. I think we saw one just now. Very, very strange answer. Like this. Okay. So the minimum point is also, a very weird answer. Like weird as in dia pecahan, but dia bukan nombor bulat. Okay. So, and we seem to see this trend these days in SPM papers. Okay. Now, my advice to you will be this. If you get, let's say, you get this answer, okay, and actually the answer is correct, tapi you are self-doubting. You're like, saya tidak yakin, kenapa dia punya nombor ni sangat bidak. Why is this number so ugly? Why can't it be a nice number like -4, -3? So nice the number. But instead, the answer, which is -11 over 2 and -1 over 4, is the correct answer. Now, if you come to a point and you already got the answer, but the answer is very bidak, okay, my advice to you is leave it alone and go to the next question. Okay, because ultimately, when you answer the entire paper, the working has more marks than the actual answer. So let's say this is a 3-mark question. Yes, I know you shouldn't be wasting marks, I know, but you also shouldn't be wasting time, which is a very big problem in admits paper. Ramai yang tidak ada masa mau kasih habis tu kertas. And one of the reasons is because kamu buat soalan yang sama 2-3 kali, sebab kau tidak yakin dengan jawapan kamu. Okay, and I found this to be always a very common problem among students. So my take on this is this. If you find yourself in this situation and you're not confident with your answer, leave it alone first. Go and answer the rest of the questions. Then when you, let's say if you have time to check the paper, you check that question again. If you get the same answer again, no need to do again Janganlah buat 3-4 kali supaya kau mau dapat jawapan yang cantik. Be prepared for ugly looking answers. Okay, because ultimately the answer is just 1 mark. So if you score 2 out of 3, it is still okay. Okay, I know you want to score 3 out of 3, but nobody is going to be there to tell you, oh yeah, betul sudah tu jawapan itu. Nobody is going to be there. So you have to trust yourself, trust your working, and know that when you answer this, the answer is just 1 mark. The working is actually more important. If your working is correct, okay, and your answer is wrong, it is definitely better than the answer is correct and the working is wrong. That's even worse. Okay, or the answer is correct and then tiada working. Itu lagi teruk. So you want to avoid that situation. So focus on making sure your working is correct. If your answer is weird, leave it alone. Finish the rest of the paper first. Never answer the same question twice in a row. Okay, ini saya selalu lihat. Dia habiskan, lepas tu dia dapat jawapan tau, and then sudah betul, tapi dia tidak yakin. So you know what he does? He cancel the whole thing and then do the whole thing again. You know how much time you waste? by doing this, repeating, and then you get the same answer again. And then lepas itu, when you get the same answer, it is the same answer as before, you know. And then you realize that you have wasted time. Or worse, astaga, kenapa ni saya masih lagi dapat jawapan begini. Terus kamu stress. You know, and you make yourself stress for nothing. Sorry, banyak pula saya membeda. So mau habis dalam ni kertas. But I want to say this lah. Okay, don't be so obsessed with the answer. Focus on the working and focus on finishing the paper first. Then you come back and do the one yang kamu rasa, oh saya punya jawapan sangat bidak. Okay? But if I were you, if the jawapan is bidak, jawapan tu bidak lah. Negative 11 over 2 and negative 1 over 4 is still answer. Okay, so don't be too stressed out if the answer doesn't look as perfect as you want it to be. Okay, there really is no such thing as a perfect answer. Okay, determine whether the points A, B, and C are collinear. So if you want to determine whether 3 points are collinear, it means that you need to determine whether the area is 0. Okay, so this is the down, 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 and then the up, 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 up formula. The one where you susun 6, 0, sorry, 6, 4, 0, 1, negative 4, negative 1, and then 6, 4 again. Then is the down, 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 and then the up, up, up. Okay, now if your answer is equals to 0, then you need to write a sentence. Remember, when you want to prove something, always write a sentence at the end. Okay, since the area equals to 0, therefore, okay, points, you can copy back the same line lah. Okay, A, B, and C are collinear. Okay, that I would consider this a complete answer. Okay, so I see a lot of students, what they do is they count, then equals to 0, okay? Then that's it down. Then I'm like, okay, are you answering the question? No, for me, you're not answering the question. You're just calculating the area, but you never tell me whether the points are collinear or not. Okay, that's why this sentence is very important. Okay, I'm not an examiner lah, okay, but for my students, I insist that if it is a proving question, you must write a sentence to show that apa yang kamu kira ni, untuk apa kamu kira, because that shows the logical process, okay, of why you are determining whether it is collinear. Okay, but for those of you who understand this, okay, just remember lah, whenever you talk about collinear, it means that the area is equals to 0. It means that dia adalah satu garis. Satu garis kan mana ada luas, dia punya area adalah 0 lah. That's what it means. Okay. Now, if you are going to use gradient, no, you cannot use gradient. Because if the gradient is same, it only means that it is parallel. It may not be collinear. It may not be one line. And gradient hanya menunjukkan kecerunan. So if you use gradient to prove that the points are collinear, I would mark you wrong. Because you're just proving that they're parallel. Parallel lines are not always collinear. Like these are parallel lines. But are they collinear? No, they're not. Okay, they are just parallel. Okay, so yeah, I would advise against using gradient. Okay, 10. Determine y, given that y equals to t minus 2t squared and x is this, find dy dx in terms of x. Okay, so this one you have to use the chain rule. Okay, so we have 3 letters, y, t, and x. Astaga, sorry, y, t, and x. So if you want to have dy dx, you have to find dy dt times dt dx. Okay, so a couple of ways to do this. Of course, you can find dy dt. Okay, then here you can find dx dt, and then you terbalikkan, okay, to get the dt dx. Okay, I don't think you need to, yeah. Okay, then after you times it together and you should be able to get this answer, 2 minus x over 4. Okay, in terms of x. Okay. Hold on, let me just check something. Sorry. Okay, so dy, I think I need to do this. So dy dt, okay, dy dt will be 1 minus 4t. Okay, dy dt lah. Dx dt will be 4. Yeah lah, betul lah. So that means dy dt will be 1 minus 4t times, okay, if dx dt is 4, dt dx is 1 over 4. Okay, 1 over 4. But it's in terms of x. Oh, okay. And then on top of that, tapi soalan ini mau in terms of x. So we don't want the t over there. And okay, let me simplify this now. 1 minus 4t over 4 lah. Okay, but the question was in terms of x. Now we know that x is equals to 4t plus 1. If I shift across, x minus 1 over 4 equals to t. So I can substitute the t inside here. Sorry, inside here. Okay, so 1 minus 4 times x minus 1 over 4. Okay, over 4. So this will give me the Yetchen, okay, and this will give me 2 minus x over 4, which is this answer. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of work involved here because you have to find it in terms of x, not in terms of t. Okay, then from 10a, find the approximate change in y. Approximate change in y is this, okay, del y, okay, the squiggly d, okay, del y, if x changes from 3 to 2.98, which means that del x is 3 to 2.98 means reduce. Reduce means negative 0.02. 2.98 minus 3. Okay, so del y equals to dy dx times del x. Okay, now we already have dy dx, which is 2 minus x over 4. So 2 minus x over 4 times del x is negative 0.02. But the problem is we want to find the value. So which value of x should I substitute in here? We always substitute the original value of x, okay, which is 3. Okay, we don't substitute the new value. We always substitute the original value of x. So you get 2 minus 3 over 4 times negative 0.02. Okay, and you should be able to get the answer. Del y equals to 0.005. Okay, so again, differentiation question, yeah, got us being like, wow, so complicated that this. Yeah, differentiation got a lot of steps to this. Okay, so it comes with practice, but yeah, you know, always take what you can handle. If you think you can't handle differentiation, focus on other chapters first. Okay, question 11. Given that 7cn is more than 1, okay, list out all the possible values of n. Now, there are a couple of ways to do this. Okay. If you want to have more than 1, okay, I mean, I've given you the answer, but how you determine this? Okay, how you determine this is that number 1, you know that the value down here cannot be more than the value up here. Okay, so for example, 7cn, its maximum is number 7. Okay, that means you have a few choices for n. N can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, these are the possible values for 7. And then what you do is, one by one, you count and see. Okay, 7C0. 7C0 is 1. Okay, so 0 cannot. Because we want more than 1. We don't want the 1. Okay, then you try. Okay, 7C1. 7C1 is 7. Okay, so 1 is okay. Then you do all the way the same thing. You will find out that actually 7C7 is also 1. So actually the only values that will give you a value of more than 1, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It can be calculated manually. Okay. Now, secondly, given that NCR equals to NCS, express N in terms of R and S. Okay. So one thing that we didn't really talk about now is this combination thing. Okay, look at this combination. I'm going to use this example. So 7C0, 7C1, 7C2, 7C3, 7C4, 7C5, 7C6, 7C7. Now we know that 0 is 1. Okay, 7C7 is also 1. 7C1 is 7. Okay, 7C2. Oh, sorry. 7C2 is 7. My goodness, 7C2 is 21. 7C3, 35. 7C4, 35. 7C5, 21. 7C6, 7, and this one. Now notice that the C, the combination, this one always forms an up and down pattern. Okay, always forms an up and down pattern where the first and the last value is the same. 7C0 is the same as 7C7. 7C1 is the same as 7C6. 7C2 is the same as 7C5. And 7C3 is the same as 7C4. Okay, that's the first thing you need to notice. Now, the second thing you need to notice is that, and I don't know if I have enough colors to do this, notice that with the same values, for example, 7C0 and 7C7, both of them are equal to 1. Okay, and we find that 0 and 7 is equals to 7. Look at the green color, 7C1, 7C6. 1 plus 6 also equals to 7. 2 plus 5, 7. 3 plus 4 is 7. So when somebody says 10C4 equals to 10C6, it is true, because 4 plus 6 equals to 10. So the value of their C is the same. Okay? So if somebody says NCR equals to NCS, what it means that both when you add R plus S, it is equals to N, which is what they want. Okay, there's actually no working in this because each one is only 1 mark each. It's only a 2-mark question. Each one is 1 mark each. But this is a conceptual question, which will definitely appear in paper 1. Similar to this, I'm not saying that this will appear. Okay, but this is a conceptual thing, which we didn't really spend time talking about this because we just learned how to find the C on the calculator. But the concept behind this, okay, is pretty interesting. And it works with all the C's, 100 C0 and 100 C100 is the same value. Okay, it's the same value because 0 plus 100 is 100. 100 C1 and 100 C99 is the same value because 1 plus 99 will equals to 100. So C values, only for C okay, only for C is, it goes up and down. Not really up and down like that. Okay, never mind. Just ignore me. Okay, all right. Diagram 3 shows 6 cards of different letters, factor, FACTOR. So calculate the number of different ways to arrange all the cards in a row if there is no restriction. So if you're arranging everything, it will be 6 factorial or 6p6. Arrange. So that means you're not just choosing, you're also arranging. So arrangement is very important. Okay. Now the first card is a consonant and the last card is a vowel. You want to arrange everything, but got syarat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first one is a consonant. Consonant is F, C, T, R. So you have 4, you want to pick 1. So 4, pick 1. The last one is a vowel. There are only 2 vowels, A and O. So this is 2, pick 1. Okay, and the rest is 4 factorial. Okay, you chose. And then everything you kasi darab, you should be able to get 192. Okay, 4 pick 1 times 4 factorial or 4p4 lah, also can, like, if you understand the 4p4 times 2p1. Okay, you will get the answer 192. Okay, so this is the other strange question in the section A, paper 1 lah, okay, which is the solution of triangles question, which shouldn't be appearing here, but it came out anyway. So let's just answer this lah. Okay, so quadrilateral ABCD, find the length of BD and the area of the quadrilateral. Okay, obviously the area of the quadrilateral is you need to find the area of both the triangles and add them together lah. So this will be ABD plus BCD. Okay, but let's focus on finding the length of BD first lah. Okay, finding the length of BD you can find by using the sine rule. Okay, you need to know how much is this angle. Since this triangle is a 180-degree triangle, so you have 180 minus 31 minus 79. So you get this angle is 70. Use the sine rule and you should be able to get 16.42. 3 decimal places lah. Okay, better to use 3 decimal places. Now, how do you find the area of this one? Okay, for ABD, okay, for ABD, I suggest you use 1/2 AB sine C lah. Okay, since you have this one. For BCD, I suggest you use Heron's formula. Okay, I'm not sure if you remember what is Heron's formula. Okay, actually there are a few ways lah. Okay, you can also use other ways, but you can use Heron's formula because you're going to have 3 sides. You already have CD, you already have BC, and you're going to have this 16.42. So tidak payah kamu cari sudut, just use Heron's formula, okay, and you should be able to get the area of BCD. Then you add both together, okay, to give you this 7 marks. Okay, so go and look up Heron's formula, how to find the area of the triangle using Heron's formula. Because if you have 3 sides, no point looking for the angles. Just use Heron's formula, you should be okay. All right. Okay, let's look at the last 3 questions and then we'll call it a night lah. Let's take a break lah. Sebab memang every class is very designed to be short, except for the physics class lah. The physics class will probably be a little bit long because saya mau habis itu soalan struktur kan. Okay, so diagram 5 shows triangles OAQ and OPB. Okay, where P lies on OA and Q lies on OB. Now the straight lines AQ and PB intersect at point R. Given that, okay, and this is where all the information comes in lah. Okay, OA is 15x, OB is 12y, and then OPPA is 1 to 2. So 1 and 2. OQQB is 3 and 1. Oh man, 3 and 1. Okay, and PR is HPB. Okay, and QR is KQA. So first of all, we have to express OR lah. OR in terms of H. Okay, so the first question they give H, which means that somehow we have to use this one. PR equals to HPB. So the only logical one will be OP plus PR. Okay, OR is equals to OP plus PR. Okay, so use the ratio. You know that OA is 15x. Use this ratio and you get OP is actually 5x lah. Okay, so this will be 5x. Then PR is HPB. Okay, so now we need to find PB. Okay, so PB will be another story in itself lah. Okay, it can be PB, PO plus OB. Okay, PO plus OB. Okay, PO plus OB. Negative 5x. Yeah. Okay, so once you do everything and you simplify, you should be able to get this answer. 5 minus 5h x plus 12hy. Then you do the same thing all over again, but now we want k. Since we want k, and the clue given to us is kita kena pakai QR, all these are helping us one. So OR will be actually equals to OQ plus OR. OQ plus QR, sorry. And then the QR is actually KQA. Okay, and how do I find QA? QA will be QO plus OA. Okay, so all this, they use all these ratios to help you to find QO and OA and so on and so forth, and you should be able to get this. Okay, then only you find the values of H and K. So how do you find it? Is you compare, because both of these vectors are OR. That means the X vectors are the same and the Y vectors are the same. So you compare the vectors. Okay, compare the vectors. So the X vector, you will give you 5 minus 5h equals to 15k. And then the Y vector, 12h equals to 9 minus 9k. Sorry, this shouldn't be here. Okay, so with these two equations, you can do simultaneous equations. And once again, we get answer yang sangat bidah. Okay, 2/3 and 1/9. It's okay. Okay, if your working is correct, carry on. Don't stop. Okay, just because the answer is 2/3 and 1/9 doesn't mean that the answer is wrong. Okay, it is most likely correct. Well, assuming that your working is correct. If your working is correct, your answer will definitely be correct. Okay. Now, I want to mention this question. If you've noticed in our previous AdMaths classes, especially if you've been following the videos, you will notice that I answered these kind of questions a lot. I choose to answer this kind of vector questions a lot, partly because I feel that, yes, it is complicated. Okay, I admit it is a complicated question, but when you slowly work through it, actually it's not that difficult. Okay, it's not that difficult. Open up the picture, draw again the triangle if it helps you. Okay, don't be like me I put all my eggs in one basket. Every information is in the same diagram, so sometimes it can be a little bit complicated to see. So if you draw your own diagram, as long as you follow draw your own diagram, find your own vectors, actually it can be done one. Okay, this question is actually quite easy, but you need to sit down and take some time, to work through the problem. Okay, but it can be done. Okay, just make sure that you get the arrows and the directions correct and understand how the ratio works. Okay, like I said, this one, how did I get this as 5x? Because this is 2 parts, this is 1 part, and the whole thing is 15x. 3 parts is 15, so 1 part must be 5 lah. Okay, it's very basic ratio logic. Macam ini. Kan? The whole thing is 12y. Tapi ini 3 parts and ini 1 part. So this 1 part is how much? 4 parts is 12. So 1 part is 3 lah. So this is 3y. And this OQ is 9y. Okay, so done dan saya perlu bagi tahu this ratio thing memang tiada markah itu. Kamu tulis saja OB equals to 3y kan, you're correct already one. Okay, don't need to show us how you get the 3y because it's not required. Okay, you just have to know that when you have this ratio, learn how to divide these ratios around. Okay, it's a very important skill. So I really emphasize this question a lot, in our discussions, because I feel that if you sit down and work through it, you can do it. It can still be done. It's never too late. It's not too late. Okay, question number 14. Solve sine 2a plus cos a equals to 0. And you get all this. Okay, let's settle this first. So sine 2a plus cos a equals to 0. So the first thing that we need to do is to settle the sine 2a. So this will be 2 sine A cos A plus cos A equals to 0. Factorize out the cos A, so I get cos A 2 sine A plus 1 equals to 0. So once I factorize this out, I will get cos A equals to 0 and sine A equals to negative half. Okay, cos A equals to 0 is special angle. 0 is a special, sorry, cos A 0 is a special angle. Okay, so you can, there's no quadrant for this, unfortunately. Okay, so you have to remember this. Okay, this will give you the answer 90 and 270. Okay, and then sine A is negative half. This is quadrant, all signs, quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. Okay, which is sine negative. So sine negative, this one will give us 210 and 330. Okay, so the penyelesaian daripada situ saya tidak akan tunjukkan, but saya hanya tunjukkan macam mana kamu dapat itu the two sides of the factorization. Okay, this question is pretty simple. Again, make sure you have the formula list with you because the sine 2a formula is in the formula list. So don't waste the effort there. Okay, second one. Diagram 6 shows graph y equals to a cos bx plus c. Okay, so find the values of a, b, and c. Now, this is a cos graph, which should start here. Okay, it should start this one. And then we have this one, but it only comes up to here. Okay, so if you notice, sorry, this is half a cycle. One full cycle is go down and go up. Okay, so half a cycle is 3 over 2 pi. If, okay, so the original cos graph is like this. Okay, this is 1 and this is negative 1. That's the original one. Y equals to cos x. But this obviously has been modified. We only know it's a cos graph, but it has already been modified. Okay, and so we find that the maximum value is 1 and the minimum value is negative 3. So there are 4 steps in between them, which means that this has been a 2 and negative 2, and then they kasih turun 1. That means the A, the amplitude is actually 2, and their turun 1 is negative 1. So which this one makes sense. Okay, that one is, this makes sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me now is this part that ends in the middle of here. Because, okay, so the answer is half. The answer is half. Half means in 2 pi, it's only half a cycle. Because the number that is next to the x is the angle is how many cycles in 2 pi. For example, cos 2x means in 360 degrees is 2 cycles. Okay, that's what it means. But the problem is this diagram is not really giving me much of a help. So I'm going to assume, okay, I'm going to assume that maybe there was a misprint. It's supposed to be from maybe from here to here. It's supposed to end at 2 pi to show that it is only half a cycle. So it would be y equals to 2 cos half x minus 1. So that means the A is 2, the B is half, and the C is negative 1. Sorry, this is the answer given by the book, but it just doesn't correlate with this drawing, as the drawing is a bit weird. Okay, but the half means in 360 degrees, which is 2 pi, only half a cycle finish. One full cycle is down and up. And this is supposed to be 360 degrees because cos 1x makan 1 cycle. But this one, 360 degrees already, not even 1 cycle finish. Okay, it's actually half a cycle. Okay, so half a cycle, which will give you the value of b equals to half. Okay, a little bit strange because the drawing is a little bit off. Okay, so don't worry if you got this wrong. Okay, or if you're like, apa ini so weird. Yeah, it really is very weird. Look at this line. It's like in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Okay, number of solutions for a cos bx plus c equals to 2. Okay, equals to 0, plus 2 equals to 0. So a cos bx plus 2, plus c plus 2 equals to 0. Now we know that this is equals to y. Okay, so y plus 2 equals to 0. We have to draw the line of y equals to 2. So if we draw the line of y equals to 2, sorry, negative 2. If we draw the line of y equals to negative 2, we are only going to get one solution. Okay, that's it. So this is a 4-mark question, which actually means that there's no drawing required. You just have to state. State. Okay, so each one is 1 mark. Okay, state. State means you just have to know this. Okay, so I would start this B question a little bit, because the B question is a little bit strange, because the diagram, okay, the diagram is a little bit off. Okay, last question. Is this the last one? Yeah. Diagram 7, AE and BE are tangents to a circle, okay, with the center O and a radius of 5 cm. So let's put the radius in. Now ADB is the arc of the circle. Now given that AOB, this angle here is 2/3 pi. Okay, calculate the value of AEO, which is here, in radian. Okay, now tangent to a circle means that the radius and the tangent forms a 90-degree angle. Okay, 90 degree is half pi lah. Okay, and you know that a triangle is equals to pi radian, 180 degrees. So the angle of AEO will be equals to 180 degrees minus 2/3 divided by 2, which will be 1/3 pi, okay, minus 1/2 pi. So you should be able to get 1/6 pi. I repeat now, okay, 180 degrees is also equals to pi radian, which is 3.142. Yes, but I'm just going to use pi because I'm lazy to write 3.142. No need to write 3.142 also. Okay, if you leave your answer in pi, is totally fine. So pi is 180 degrees. The tangent forms a 90-degree angle. So 90 degrees is half pi lah. So pi is 180, so half pi is 90 degrees. And then this whole thing is 2/3 pi. So divide by 2, I'll get 1/3 pi. So 180 minus this 90 degrees, I will get this one is 1/6 pi. Okay, in radians. So sorry, I'm stuck at this question B. Okay, and I will get back to you on this if I can figure out why this, or maybe there's a mistake in this question. But I'm going to answer question C first. Okay, so question C, the area of segment ADB is here lah. Okay, this part altogether. Okay, this segment. So it is the area of sector minus the area of the triangle, which can be easily found lah. Okay, so the area of the sector. Okay, the area of sector is sorry, hold on. Okay, the area of sector is 1/2 r squared theta. Okay, and since your r is 5, 1/2, 5 squared, then theta is 2/3 pi lah. Okay, and then you can get the answer from there. Then after that, the area of the triangle, okay, is 1/2 AB sine C, which is 1/2 5 times 5 times sine 120. Okay, which is the area of this triangle. Okay, the one in green. So the whole sector minus this green color, you should be able to get the area of segment. Okay, so the area of segment will be A1 minus A2. And you should be able to get 15.35 centimeters squared. Okay. So, yeah. So yes, sorry for that question which was so strange. Okay, yang saya masih lagi memikirkan. Okay, but let me figure this out, and I will let you know in the next class lah. Okay, but I think for now, this paper in general, I think it's quite easy. Okay, except for this one this one part lah. Okay.